Alright then, hi guys, I'm going to be doing a quick little tier list, and I'm going to do a couple different ones because I've chosen a couple, but they're not incredibly long. And this is a video that I'm not going to, I don't know if I'm going to make it that much because it's quite a low effort one. And as you can see, I'm in a bit of a different setting. I'm not really, but I'm in a green screen behind me, which hopefully with a bit of editing you won't be able to see. And you probably won't even know what I'm doing at the moment, but I'm quite sat on a chair. And it's a tiny, tiny chair. Look at that. It's midgy. And it's broken. I have to fix it with tape. That's how budget this thing is. But yeah, so let's get into it, shall we? We're going to do a tier list. The first one is going to be on different clubs and my feelings upon them. Let's just start off. That's the only one going up there. That's the only one up there. And do you know what? I don't think I have to explain anything. A lot of people go like, oh, why do you hate Liverpool and dislike Man City? I'm going to be honest, if there was a tier between dislike and hate, I'd put them there. It's at this point, it's just I don't care at this point, that's the tier they'd be in. It's just Man City. They want, as far as I'm concerned, they want a club like 15 years ago. They didn't have fans 15 years ago. They don't have fans now. It's just some money came in and they've done well. They're not a club that's started being run quite well at the moment, but they're a club that, as far as I'm concerned, haven't done it the right way. Which is why I dislike them. I'm not going to go ahead and say that I hate them. I probably should say I hate them because they're the other side of Manchester United. But at the same time, I just don't care. At this point, I've just run out of caring about it. I'm going to put Chelsea. Same reason as Man City. They started this whole thing of spending stupid amount of money in order to win titles. I just don't like the way they run. I think they're like the fact that they sack managers every 2 seasons. It works. I don't like it. And they brought in Frank Lampard, who's, to be fair, one of the main reasons why I'm so annoyed at Chelsea this season, because he's so overhyped. Like, he's at the moment got them in third place by a point, and they go to Anfield next week. So I don't know if they're home or away. They play Liverpool next week, and if they lose, and United and Leicester win, we're swimming. We're third, and Chelsea aren't in Champions League places, and yet Frank Lampard's done this amazing job with such a young side compared to likes of Ollie, who's being scrutinised in the media every 2 weeks. So, and he's got the youngest average side in Europe, and he's used the most academy prospects out of anyone in England's top 4 leagues. So Frank Lampard, I think, has come into he's inherited what was, excluding Hazard, although he's a big factor, a title-winning side 3 or so years ago, and has got them battling top 4. I wouldn't say he's done an incredible job. I'd say that he's done probably, if you look at his players, he's where they should be, but they could be doing better. But the thing is, with a manager, he's meant to come in and improve your players. I haven't seen anyone improve under Frank Lampard. He's come in. Tammy Abraham started well, but he's done shocking since. Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's a generational talent, has played like 10 games this season and hasn't looked impressive. Pulisic has come in. He's the only one that's maybe you can argue about. Mason Mount looked better at Derby. It's just a long list of players that, if anything, he's made worse. So I'm not going to go ahead and rate him, and I hate Chelsea. Simple as that. Brighton, I think a couple of these I can just gloss over. I'm going to put neutral. Cardiff, neutral. Fulham, neutral. These are ones that aren't in the Premier League anymore, and I'll put Huddersfield in there as well, because this tier list was clearly made a couple of years ago. Just check them in neutral. Just Brighton, Cardiff, Fulham, Huddersfield. They're just there. They're just there to make up numbers at this point. They don't really suit a traditional. No, they don't really have like this big style like a lot of clubs do. They're just there to make up numbers, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to go ahead and say that I hate them. I'm not going to say that I like them. They're just there, and they're just a club that you can, in 5 years' time, could be in Premier League. In 5 years' time, could be in League One or League Two, and then they could go to the Premier League and then go relegate the year afterwards. No one really knows. Alright, Arsenal. It's between those two. I'm going to put them in neutral. I'm not going to say that I hate them or I like them. I'd say they've had a lot of success over years, or they've had a good amount of success over years, and they've had some of the most iconic players as well, like Henry and Bergkamp and Vieira and just a long list. But they're just not what they used to be, and I know a couple of Arsenal fans. I get on well with them. They're not always, how can I put this politely? They're not always overhyping their players like a lot of Arsenal fans do. But Arsenal fans are one of the most toxic, behind Liverpool of course, on social media, and AFTV as well has played a big part in that, and so I'm not going to say that I hate them, I just feel indifferent. Alright, let's put Bournemouth in the neutral column as well. Bournemouth are a side that is sadly we're gonna lose them. They're not going to be in the Premier League anymore. And I'm going to be honest, they're quite a decent side. When we played against them, they had a couple of opportunities. They played quite well. Shout out to Eddie Howe. He's done a very good job with them, getting them from the lower divisions up to Premier League and stayed here for a couple of years. I think he's one of the longest rating managers. I think he's the longest rating manager in the Premier League. So shout outs to them. But again, they're not like a free-flowing attacking football that you'll go, you know what, don't support them, but I'll watch them because they're entertaining. They're not one of those teams. They're a grafting team. So, honestly, yeah, I feel indifferent. I'm going to say neutral. Palace. There's a lot of clubs I feel quite neutral about, and Palace is another one of them. Palace have, again, they're a club that you can look at and go, they're just there to make up numbers. They'll finish anywhere usually between 9th and 15th is their average position, I guess. You wouldn't expect them to come any higher, you wouldn't expect them to finish any lower. They'll occasionally get big performance and they'll pull out results against teams. But again, you'll see they're a team that you'll never watch and see them lose 5-6 or 4-5-0, unless you just let us play Man City and they're having an off day. You'll never go to a game and go, you know what, Palace are going to win 4-0 today, or Palace are going to lose 4-0 today. It just doesn't happen very often. They're just a side again, make up numbers. Now Burnley. I like Burnley. They're a side that, although it's not a traditional style, have a style. They're a side that quite a physical team. They win quite a lot of goals from crosses, which a lot of people may not like, but I'm a fan of Burnley. And to be fair to them, they made Man United angry when they beat us from a Jay Rodriguez goal. They made us angry, which started our unbeaten run, so I appreciate it, lads. I'm going to chuck Everton dislike. I'm not going to go have a big tantrum like I have with the other clubs. Like, if it's between, I'd put them between neutral and dislike. They're not a club that I'd be like, they're okay. They're also not a club that I like, or they're not a club that I dislike or hate. They're just there. They're a club that is frustrating, to be honest. They're a club that have always been the club that could be doing better but doesn't. They're a club that have sat between 7th and 10th for many, many years. But I'm going to put them in dislike because they made David Moyes look quite good to the point where he got the Man United job. That's what I'm going to say about it. And now, who I refer to as Manchester United's bogey team. A team that we have played for the last couple of years, and we've only beaten once in the cup, and that was 1-0. They're a side that we never do well against. They're a side that, to fair, I have some respect for some of their players, the likes of Traore, Jimenez, Jean Moutinho. They've got a stupidly good Portuguese super agent as in this chief scouting department. So they're going to get some incredible talents in, and I'm going to be brutally honest. They're a club that I kind of respect, and they can pull out some big results like the Man City result, and just a long list of stuff. All right, Newcastle, another neutral team. Don't need to go much into it. Again, just a club that's going to make up numbers. Used to be a lot bigger than they are now. If they do have the Saudi takeover, they spend stupid amount of money, breach financial fair play laws, and then get away with it like City did by paying them off even though there's no evidence, then I'll probably put them a bit lower because I'm not a fan of how all that works. Although, as people are going to throw the numbers that Man United have spent at me, but at the same time, we haven't spent in the right way. And if you look at the list of players that we spent money on, I'd say 80% of them aren't here anymore. And all you have to do is look at our team and go, look at our starting 11, for example, against Palace. David De Gea, who's been here enough to play 400 games, was here in the Fergie era. You have our right back, Wan-Bissaka, who's just come in for 50 million. That's a good amount of money. But he's young, he's English, he's one for the future. Got Harry Maguire, our captain, who again cost a lot of money, 80 million, but we needed him. Next to him is Lindelof, who's been here good few years, and I don't think he cost us massive amounts of money. Timbo started at left back, but it could have easily been Luke Shaw or Brandon. Brandon and Timbo, academy boys. Luke, we got for, I'd say, a cheap amount of money for considering the qualities that he has, and he's still rather young. I think he's like 23, 24 still, which amazes me because of how long he seems to be at the club for. And so he's still young. He hasn't been here too long. Well, he's been here a while, and he's still quite young, and he can play for a lot longer. He has Scott McTominay, another academy boy. Pogba, although it cost a lot of money, he is also another academy product. Fred, who cost 50 million, came in under Mourinho, so again, another high price. And then we had Bruno, who is, I think it's 45 with add-ons, so he's quite cheap, considering. And then we had our front three of Martial as our striker, who, let's say 50, let's round it off, it's probably like 47, 48 without add-ons, and like 55, 60 with add-ons, but the good old song of 50 million down the drain means that I'm going to put him as a 50 million price tag. And Marcus and Greenwood, again, academy products. So I don't know why I can't say it's being on a tangent, just because he's complaining about money and football. But if you look at that squad, the starting 11 we had against Palace had Timbo, Scott McTominay, Pogba, Rashford, and Greenwood, and it had the likes of Jesse Lingard come on. So we played, out of a possible 13, because we only made 2 subs that game, 6 of them were academy boys. No other club does that. Tottenham, overrated. I'm going to dislike because, like I said, they're overrated. They have had a couple of good seasons where they've finished quite highly, but they've never kicked on from it. They had the season where they were going to finish second, ahead of Arsenal, and then bottled it the last couple of weeks and gave Leicester the league, finishing third. And then they had, of course, last season, they gave Liverpool the Champions League title. They gave them the trophy. Can't forgive them for that. They're a club that have got some good talents in there. They've got the likes of Bergwijn, they've got Lucas Moura, they've got Son, some good talents. Never kicked on. Harry Kane, he scores goals, but I like a striker, like a Tony Martial type player who is versatile. Harry Kane isn't that. He is a striker. If he's not a striker, he doesn't play. If he can't put him on the wings, you can't drop him a bit deeper. Whereas if you look at our current front three, Greenwood, Rashford, Martial, it's fluent. That's how Manchester United have always been. We've always had a front three or front two that can play in any position across that front line. And Harry Kane, what he does is good. He scores a lot of goals, but I don't like to say that's all he brings, because of course that's the most important thing that he brings. But when you look at the likes of their run to the Champions League final, and you saw Son and Moura looking incredible, and then you just see Moura get dropped just to bring Harry Kane in, even though he wasn't 100% fit against Liverpool, it just goes to show that they're reliant on a guy that just doesn't perform as much as you expect him to. Start Moura in that game and it could have been different. So they're a club that I'd say is run quite well, considering they've had quite a few academy boys, and they've loaned them at the right places, and they've loaned them for the right amount of time, and they haven't spent stupid amount of money. So that I appreciate. But they're a side that I feel is very overrated. Southampton, they're a club with a style. They're a club that sadly did take points away from Manchester United the other week, which I'll never forgive them for. They've ruined what could have been quite a good week, or set up for us to play Chelsea and for us to just cruise for the rest of the season. Because we'd be top 3, we'd be playing Leicester in the last game of the season, not really having to worry too much. And we'd have West Ham, who won today and have guaranteed safety. So I feel like there's a cat fighting in my garden from the sounds of it. If it wasn't for this whole thing of drawing with Southampton, United would be quite good this season. I'm going to be honest, Southampton have been a side that they're a feeder club. And they're not labelled as a feeder club too often. But I do like the fact they've got some they definitely, their recruitment is very good. Like, there's the memes of Liverpool just buying. Like, Liverpool is Southampton's best players, basically. When you look at the likes of Mane and Van Dijk, it just proves that Southampton is a feeder club to Liverpool, effectively. And, as much as I hate to say it, I quite like him. Danny Ings as well. He's a player that's definitely coming to his own this season. He's a hard-working guy. He's going on 20 goals this season, his record-breaking season. It's just crazy. I quite like him. Leicester. I like Leicester as well. They're a club that, after they won the league, well, to be fair, before they won the league, they were battling relegation, went on a crazy run to survive because they were bottom for most of the year. Went on a crazy run to survive. No one thought they'd carry it on there. Everyone's thinking, you know what? They looked good for that time, but they're going to drop. Their quality's going to drop. They're not going to be as good the season afterwards. They're going to get relegated straight away. I think they were favourites to get relegated, and then they won the league. I don't think that's going to happen again for at least another 20-25 years. That a club is going to be... The people are going to be that wrong about a club. Sheffield United, a lot of people they've been better than a lot of people expected, but I think they're still like mid-table now. But Leicester going from relegation favourites to winning the league is incredible. And lots of people expected them to struggle afterwards, especially after they sacked Claudio Ranieri. A lot of people are like, you know what, they're going to struggle. They're not going to necessarily go down, but they're not going to kick on, and they're not going to sustain their finishing. And they did. They're a club that I think finished mid-table the year after they won the league. I think they finished mid-table again the year afterwards. And then this year, they're battling for top 4, battling for Champions League football, which I don't think anyone expected. And they've got some players. They've got some players as well. And everyone expected them to struggle after selling Mahrez and Kante. But they brought in Perez and Ndidi and Tielemans and Maddison and just a long list of players. Like, their squad is very, very good. They've got the likes of back four Pereira, who's injured. You've got Soyuncu, who's sent off. You've got Johnny Evans, who, of course, as a Man United fan, I know that he can be quite good at times. Chilwell, who's injured. Tielemans, Maddison. You've got Ndidi, who I rate really highly. You've got Perez, you've got Vardy, who's banging in the goals constantly. You've got Iheanacho, you've got Harvey Barnes. You've got a very good list of players there. A team that, you know what, on paper, can do the business. So I respect Leicester. I respect the fact that they've lost their best players, and they've reinvested in the right places. They took the money that they got from different teams, and they've bought players to replace the players they lost for cheaper, and have done, if anything, as good a job. Watford I like. I'm not be afraid to say it. I like him, mainly because of Ben Foster, and I'm not even joking. I loved Foster when he was at United. He just wasn't up to scratch, and The upsetting thing is, though, I followed his career, and he's been, wherever he's gone, he's been one of their best players, and I rate him really highly. And then you look at some of the other players they've got, like Tom Cleverley, I rated him at United, but of course he went downhill when we lost one of our best players, and he's average in an average team, but he's good in a great team. You've got the likes of Ismail Assar, you've got Troy Deeney, a team that I can respect, and a team that I hope stay up. At this point, they're 3 points clear of the drop zone, but Bournemouth have. But Bournemouth have some easily winnable games, whereas Watford, they have some tough ones. And finally, West Ham. Dislike West Ham. I'm not gonna. It's the last team. I'm not gonna go into it massively, but West Ham, I'm not a fan of. They somehow manage to stay up every year, or since they've come back. They always seem to be fighting relegation. They've always been a club that, I won't say they've spent big, because they haven't. They've always been a club that have had good players, but just haven't kicked on. And they're always been, and I've said for a while now, I would so love it for them to be playing Championship football next season. With the size of their stadium, I would love to see that stadium in the Championship next season, and it'll be so empty. It'll be so empty. It's crazy. The amount of well-known West Ham fans there are as well, it's surprising. Although you can't really dig at West Ham too much. I know it's the past, but they had a lot of players that won the World Cup. There's a lot of boys there, like Sir Bobby. But yeah, West Ham, I'm not going to put in hate. Again, if there was more columns, I'd put them between neutral and dislike. But at this point, I'm going to put them in dislike just because I think that, for the banter, I could very easily put them in neutral right now. But neutral is too heavy. I reckon if West Ham were sooner on in the list, I'd probably put them in neutral. But I feel like it's so weighted at the moment to neutral that I have to put someone in dislike and just balance it out a bit. Because if you look, it's quite nicely now. We've got quite a lot of people in neutral. You've got 1 love, you've got 5 likes, that's 6. In the positive column, you've got 2 hate, 4 dislike, that's 6 in the negative column. So then it's quite a nice standard deviation type thing of the extremes have less and then it just starts going up. So I feel like that's probably the best it could have been. I reckon that's probably worked out quite well. Anyway, I did say I was going to do a couple of tier lists, but I've just noticed that I've been going for 23 minutes. I've waffled quite long. I've waffled for quite a long time here. I can't afford to do it for much longer. So there will be more of these, because I've got more tier lists to look at. And I've got more waffling to do. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. And peace.